Hi friends, welcome back. Let's take a look at Tezos. Tezos versus the Bitcoin prices, Tezos versus the dollar prices. On the just in terms of starting off here without any drawings on here and just looking at what we can see, diminishing volume continues. Sure it does. This little bit sideways here at the minute. It's not got a head on it so much maybe, but you could maybe look at this and think, have we got a shoulder on the go? I hope not. I hope not. Really, looking at the weekly time frame, you can see that we're above the 21. Everything's all good. Should that actually be a head and shoulders and it come down? This is quite broad, but I'm just kind of going through things fairly quick. Then I want to see the prices turn around above 2,000. 2,800, 2,700 at the worst, really, and avoid this area here, these lines here. The ideal place would be 2,800 though, if it had to, and I would worry a little bit below 2,860, but we've done all of that during this week anyway, so that's not too big a deal. Going back down to 24-hour time frame just to show you, if this was the case, which I don't really think it is, but if it was, I really don't want to reiterate, I don't think it is, but that's what you'd be looking at there. And on the weekly, that would still be part of the overall weekly uptrend. Okay, so we can continue that sort of positive thinking there. As you can see, this was higher than this previous high, this is higher than this previous low. We'd still just be on the way, and we wouldn't have broken the structure because this is the previous low there, and so we can continue with the positivity there. Just bring up the ADX again. We have these kind of broaden out a little bit overall, but it's not much in terms of the highs here. This high on the ADX, is higher than this high, so we want to see this moving up, and there is this resistance kind of at 3,104. So I want to see the prices actually get a little bit of travel with them, get a little bit of follow through, so that we can throw away some of the potential shackles of bearish divergence. Stochastics there showing the same thing, the RSI showing the same thing. Now, of course, this isn't set in stone yet. You'd need that to be a local high for that to be the case, but that's what I'd like to see happen in this area. I'd like to see it move up to 3,200, put in a decent high, move up a little bit, come up towards the bullish control zone, go overbought ever so slightly for a second here in the RSI, perhaps, or the stochastics, but it's not the be all and end all, and to avoid any divergence here on this thing. Likewise, I want this to the ADX, the white line, to remain high, not to drop down to lows. I've been showing this in all the episodes today. These lows here and always seem to come in at big volatile areas. As you can see here, there's big price action movements here, and this wick to wick giving you a solid 10% move. So you don't want to have that happen necessarily, but if it does, let it happen towards the upside, please. Would be my request to the gods of oscillators. Going over to the whatchamacallums dollar prices. Yeah, I'll just take that away, that sort of measured move type chat, and this is look at we spoke about the potential yesterday for head and shoulders because Ross had asked me to on the channel, and we discussed that it isn't really necessarily there. In terms of that descending, broadening wedge I was just looking at there, or this descending this channel, are we breaking out of it? Well, we do have volume to come in here, but not really significant volume. At least there was some, as we went beyond this. I want to see follow through from this. If we need to back test it, maybe we have, so to speak here. I hate that word back test. Maybe we have, line it up with the wicks, just properly line it up, whatever. Maybe we have here, maybe we haven't. I want to see the prices stay above 280 in general for this to be positive and breaking out of this area. In terms of if this was a symmetrical triangle though, using this white line towards the upside and borrowing our channel line here, then the measured move off of this thing, just roughly speaking, looking up towards $3.20. That could be where we need to go. Looking here at this in terms of being an uptrend, and do we have divergence on the dollar prices? Well, this current high is equal with this one on the RSI. This is just coming in higher than it here, so that's class B bearish divergence there, but that's not really the last high, so we'll discuss this more in a second. Not necessarily. It's okay on the stochastics on that front, and it's okay on the DMI on that front, but really looking back here to this area where this high, and this high was, the stochastics is the only one that's not bearishly divergent. If you're looking, really between these two, Class B bearish divergence, really Class A bearish divergence, Class B bearish divergence, right? Okay, but then the actual previous high here, bearishly divergent, bearishly divergent, bearishly divergent, currently as things stand. So there's a warning sign for us in there, but it's not much of a warning sign really overall. We've got this horizontal line where the prices are just, dancing around at 290. It's no surprise to see them having around here been suppressed by it and having a doji at that area. It's no surprise. The next target really is that 320 area, so we can look above this area just here over on the 6th of March. And yeah, that's basically what we're looking at in terms of things like the weekly chart. Look at this mess. I'll just go through this real quick. Yeah, in terms of the weekly chart, then things, looking good here, looking good. That's all good. Just get rid of these things. These are our downside targets. I'll leave this green line on here for now since it's like highlights that one. You don't want to see it going down below 230, as we've spoken about so many times. When we were patient back here, the prices were at around about 220. They went on up, then they kept going up. They went to $3. We were patient. For instance, spoke to Amith directly about this on the comments back around here on the channel, and saying, you could re-up in your entries here at 230 to 215. Well, it went down as low as 220. I mean, there are no crystal balls. There is no predictive nature to these things, but you could see that as an option. Yeah, Then we've come up here and we're putting in a higher high here. So that's good to see. We could, continue that, and it could go down to 250 in terms of the next low or whatever. That could be the case. So just bearing all that in mind, but we're looking good here. And are we divergent here? Well, no, not between the last two highs, and no. And the DMI, funnily enough, the DMI is ever so slightly, the DM positive here, sorry, is slightly divergent. Yeah, okay. The strength of trend also diminishing down the way, hasn't really kept going up as we've been going up. That's okay overall. In the face of this 290 resistance, I like $3 is really going to be a big deal for Tezos. As we look back to the last time that we were in that area. The month is closing, so let's take a look at the month, and we can say, pretty solid. We're going to be getting a higher high on the monthly. Should we stay above 270? There's not an awful lot of price action historically here on this chart, but a higher high in the monthly, that's great. The warning sign always does come in with the warning with this is always in place. A higher high, you could go to another a local low then thereafter, which is higher, and that goes all the way down to 162. It's worth pointing that out. I don't feel like that's necessarily that likely, but we would know about it, I think, along the way if that was the case. But I just wanted to point out how we're getting a higher high here, and that's really as a result of the last week's price action taking the prices up above the 270 area. Since we came up here from the 24th of May up towards the last week of the month, it's really done it for us quite well. So while these things are kind of a little bit stretched one way or the other, at times, that we've, in terms of like the trending oscillators like the RSI and the DMI, in terms of the oscillating oscillator, this is how I talk about them, the stochastics. It's not divergent as we're on the way up here. I feel like that overall we're healthy despite the sort of 2 to 1 aspect of that. Looking down towards the 4-hour time frame, there's the bearish divergence here on all of these oscillators, just in terms of this upward trend. Sure, there is from the RSI, not so much actually. It's just this last area here, and we're not yet finished putting this in quite yet, so it's a bit premature to say that. Really, we want to see the prices maintain above 291. That's ideal. If they do drop down and they use the 21 EMA at 286 or so to turn around, that's all okay too. overall breakout of this area. Let me delete all of these lines off the chart for now, so that so we can look at things positively again. 21 cent, a 20 cent difference here, a disparity on the HIT BTC chart. Look at this volatility that came in here on the 30th of May on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour price action here on HIT BTC. You know, if you want to just trade this thing with spot and you're happy enough with their fees and everything else, like 17% move, you know, towards the upside. I'll measure the downside one anyway, just because percentages are always different. But you know, 15% downside, 15 down, 17 up. Even higher, you know, 20%. And where's that taking us up to? Well, we can look at this in terms of the trend, because look at this. This is the low, this is the high, this is the higher low, remarkable, and this is the next high, you know. And the DMI came all the way down as low as 12. When it gets down below 15, you know, look out for big moves of 10% plus. And this happened here. We're not structured in an upward move here, upward sideway. You know, overall here, this isn't particularly fantastic in any of these oscillators, but this is just the 4-hour chart. Go up to the 24-hour chart and take a look again and say, hey, look, you know, things are going well. Higher low, previous to that, you know, that was a high and higher low, all that upward trend. It's not divergent, you know, that's all good. The strength of trend is kind of picking up here with the ADX moving towards up, and it's gone above 20. I want to see the blue, I want to see these two lines converge and then cross the blue and the red, the positive and negative there, and for us to trend towards the upside. And just looking at that, because it's a bit different to the rest of it here, as you can see, relatively speaking, comparatively, the strength of trend is down there below 15 here on this one, and there's this and the positive and negative are already crossed over, and there's this not divergent here, and there's this it's not divergent there. That's not even class B, whereas it's class A divergent. You know, really, this asset here is traded with such nuanced differences across every different exchange that for me to say, oh look, there is just, if we just look in here, there's just a touch of class A or class B, class B, whatever, bearish divergence here on that oscillator, then go over to this one and say, oh my goodness, it's not there at all on that one. Then go over to this one and say it's class A perhaps, and then go to this one and say it's so different everywhere you look, you know. So instead of all of that, let's look to the horizontal line 290. Let's try and get above it. Let's try and get above our previous high at 280. You know, just staying above this area. Go up to the $3. If we can open and close above $3, I'll feel much healthier and happier about this thing. Look to 320 thereafter. Perhaps get a pullback at 330. You know, for a correction to let these things reset at that point. And then I'd want to have 290 if it had to operate as a support for us as our higher low, or $3 thereafter. And that's what I'm going to be looking at. I know that there's been a I've exhibited the confusing nature of this particular asset when it's traded across different exchanges and all that recently with the price disparity and the oscillator disparity and stuff like that. And I'm not doing it to confuse you. I'm doing it to shine a light on something. There's a torch in my hand there. I'm shining a light on this and say, just look at everything. You know, stay safe, and then, you know, then simplify again afterwards. You know, expand, look at everything, simplify after. And if you want to just, like, you know, always go up a time frame to get a broader perspective. Weekly's looking good, 12 hours looking good, 24 hours, you know, it's looking good so far. We're just shy of this 295. You know, come on, maybe we can get there, but we don't need to do it necessarily in the one movement. You know, overall we're looking good compared to, you know, price action since the 10th of May. And let's just go crazy. Look at the 1 hour time frame. No, wait, no, this video is well long enough, and yeah, let's not go crazy. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share this video with a friend if you've got one that you think would like it. I apologize if I've spoken too quickly. I'm going to edit, publish, all that stuff. Get some sunshine. I recommend everybody who has the opportunity to do so does so today. Think about this. If you're in somewhere like the UK or America, imagine lockdown ends, you know, completely, and you no longer have these opportunities at all. And today's Sunday. Don't let it slide by you, because you never know. Tomorrow, Monday, you might be looking out your window at your office thinking, I wish I'd got some sun. or indeed if you have next week off, don't let it get to the week after that. Be into the middle of June, back at work, and having not got some sunshine. You can look at the charts. I've laid it all out for you, and of course you can completely look at the charts, but this broad term perspective, you never see me panicking. You never see me stuck staring at the charts all the time. If I need to get some sunshine, want to get some sunshine, then vitamin D is my priority over staring at the charts. I recommend the same thing for all you. So just stay healthy out there, stay healthy, stay happy. If you ever feel a bit down, look at the sky, it'll cheer you up, especially when it's sunny. Catch you next time. Thanks very much for tuning in.